The third topic, reciprocals. Here's the definition. For any number of x, the reciprocal of x, written as 1 over x, is the number such that 1 over x multiply x equal to 1. The number is also called the multiplicative inverse of x. And we can also say that 1 over x, this form as 1 over x. Basically, the reciprocal of any number, we can also call that the inverse of the original number. Inverse, you reverse the form, is either x versus 1 over x. It's as if you reverse the fraction. Numerator becomes denominator, denominator becomes numerator. For example, x, you can regard that x over 1. And the reverse of that, you swap the denominator with numerator. Now you become 1 over x. So that's what we call an inverse. So now let's look at some example. Number 1, what's the reciprocal of 1/3, 2/3, 3, and 2 1/4? So we pick this as an example. So 1 over 3 as the number that you start. The reverse of that, you basically swap numerator and denominator. Now is 3 over 1, which is simply 3. So for number 3, we'll skip the 2/3. Students can figure this out. If you have number 3, what's the reciprocal of 3? 3 is 3 over 1. And then the reciprocal is the reverse of numerator and denominator, which is 1 over 3. The fourth one, we have to change the format into improper fractions. 2 1/4 is 2 is what? 4 to the 8th, right? Plus 1/4. So this improper fraction is 9 over 4. So what's the reverse of that? Again, numerator becomes denominator, denominator becomes numerator, is 4 over 9. Number 2, calculate this. Okay. The fraction is 2/7 divided by 2. So divided by 2 is, we can look at this, 1 divided by 2. That's 1 over 2, right? We can say this one is multiply 1 divided by 2. So 2/7 multiply 1 over 2. And we said this already, right? We can swap these two numerator and 1 multiply 2, 7 multiply 2, so 1 multiply 7 multiply 2 divided by 2. So for this one is actually 1, right? For this fraction. So the final answer is 1 over 7. Number 3, what is 2 divided by 1/3? What is 2 divided by 2/3? And illustrate how you get it. So when we are looking at these kind of operations, we can always think of the problem as 2 multiply 1 divided by 1/3. If you want to do this one first, so 1 divided by 1/3, remember our definition for reciprocals. So if you have some number, you want to find the reverse of it, is 1 over that number, right? So that's the reciprocal. So 1 over 1/3 is actually the reciprocal of 1/3. So 1/3 swap numerator and denominator. The reciprocal is 3. So now you have 2 multiply 3. So you carry out this bracket, 6. Oh, I'm sorry. So here is another one. 2 divided by 2/3. So 2, I'm going to write this one again. Divided, I'm sorry. Here. So 1 divided by 2/3, which is should be the reciprocal of 2/3. So you swap numerator to denominator, denominator to numerator. In this case, you can rearrange this as 3 multiplied 2 over 2. Remember, this is one of our property. 2 over 2 is 1. So final answer is 3. So in here, for higher graders, I like to introduce a different way of looking at this. 2 divided by 2/3. We can write this in fraction form. How to write this one is 2 over 2/3. So remember, this is the last division that we want to do. So fraction, you write this line shorter so that you don't confuse which one are you dividing, okay? So 2 divided by this fraction, so this has a shorter line. When we do this, we usually, so you can see that this 2 now is on denominator. This 3 has another operation that's over the 2. So we can flip this one onto the numerator. So you have 2 over 2. Divide, divide. If you divide twice, it's like you have 2 negative signs. It becomes a plus. So this one actually, it used to be on the denominator. By being divided by twice, it can flip up to the numerator. So that would give you the same answer. Okay, so now the 2 stays on the denominator. So this one, calculate 2/5 divided by 7/8. We want to try to practice this method. So write this whole operation as in fraction form. 2/5 divided by 7/8. In this case, 2 is still on top. You divide 5 once, so 5 remains on the denominator. So the eventual fraction form is going to have 2 in the numerator. 5 divided once stays in the denominator. 7 divided by once by this top number, right? So the 7 stays here in the denominator. 8 got divided by once, got divided by twice, it actually becomes a numerator. So the final answer is this. Students can practice 1 divided by 7/8, the reciprocal of this, and you reverse that to multiply into this. That will also work. Number 5, calculate this. 1 plus 1 over 2 plus 1/2. So let's first combine this into one number. 2 is what, if we want to change denominator of 2, so this has to be 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2, right? So it's actually, it's a 4/2 plus 1/2 of 1. So this is 1 plus 1 over 5/2. Use what we just talked about here. 1 divided by 5, 5 only got divided once, remains in the denominator. 2 actually got divided by once and twice, so you can flip it up into numerator. So you actually will get this as a final answer.